Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be going over some more Ultra League Remix. I'm going to be using the same team that I used in the last video, so this is another set using that team. I played only one set today. I don't really have a lot of time for more sets, but in this set, I went 5-0, and we ran into some pretty tough teams. A lot of charm out there, guys. In the lead, in the swap, in the finishing, you just don't even know where the charm's going to come from. All you know is that you give all your shields to Typhlosion, you're going to be good. But there are certain cases where you give all your shields to Scrafty and you're good. So we're going to be going over all of those, and definitely if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so we definitely lost a lot of leads today, but we won some leads too. Obviously this is Grand Bull. I'm switching straight out into DD. That's because our hard counter is Typhlosion. We're going to want that for later, so we go into the soft counter. They actually stand for a few charms here. I guess they want to go into get a crunch eventually, or maybe even the close combat for Scrafty later down the line. They end up coming in with Mandibuzz. Once I saw this Mandibuzz, I was thinking, man, our team's actually pretty weak against Mandibuzz. It is Snarl, though, so, you know, Scrafty has some play, but not really. Scrafty really doesn't have a lot of play here. I'm just trying to get off any damage I can. I'm not going to shield anything. I was actually pretty surprised that he shielded the Rock Slide here. I don't know how much it does, because we actually didn't get one off, I don't think. Oh, no, we did end up getting one off. I think it was like 25%. So interesting to shield that, and ended up going for the double shield here. I don't think this is a fully XL'd Mandibuzz. It's at 2396, and I believe it ends somewhere in the 2400s. I have a Mandibuzz that's 2302, and I definitely have a lot more XLs to give it. So I decided I'm just going to come back in with Scrafty here. I'm going to go for the pups all the way down. Probably not going to shield anything. This would be one of those games where if this was in Great League, or if I hadn't seen the Grand Bull yet, and it was like a pretty neutral-ish lead that I, for some reason, switched out of. But if it was pretty neutral lead, then maybe I would say, okay, I can pup through this. I'm going to go down to like 30% from the air slashes, from the aerial aces, and then I'm going to just pup all the way through this, get a huge attack advantage, and then pull all my shields to Scrafty to try to plow through the team. But since we already saw there was a charm up front, I'm really not going to care too much about Scrafty here. Really no reason to keep him alive, because he's going to get freaking one-shot by a Grand Bull charm. Grand Bull, I think, is the highest attack stat of the fairies, of the fairy types. So, yeah. Probably, I probably could take 2 charms from here, but we're going to get Aerial Ace here. We're going to live, and then I'm going to go for the foul play because we're already 2 pupped up. This is going to do a pretty decent amount. It's going to do probably close to 20%, which is enough to KO, and then I'm just going to switch straight to Grand Bull here. Grand Bull. I'm going to switch straight to Typhlosion when they come in with a Grand Bull. They actually end up coming in with a Fortress, so I decide, okay, if he decides to stay in, I know this thing learns, like, Rock Slide, so I'm going to shield. I think we end up getting Mirror Shotted here. But I want to farm as much as I can here so that I know I can one-shot this. I don't know if I can one-shot the Grand Bull, even though it has taken some damage at this point. But I'm not going to let him get another move off, because I really don't know if he's running that Rock Slide or not. Sand Tomb is also super effective. Actually, I think they did go for a Sand Tomb, right? Okay, yeah, they did go for a Sand Tomb. So I'm going to throw this Blast Burn out. We have a ton of HP. We still have a shield. They stayed in with a lot of charms, but Charm is a very low energy move. Well, it gives you very low amount of energy, so it's really hard to get to multiple moves. They would have had to get to 2 crunches to KO us there, so. Alright, game 2. Another Grand Bull. This is not the same person, by the way. And we're going to see it here because I get juked hardcore. Oh, they tricked me so bad. This is actually a foul play. Not a foul play, a Snarl Grand Bull. I decided to just get some damage off. This is going to be so hard for me to beat in the back if I can't get Typhlosion onto this. It is interesting. I assume they're just going to stay in. The thing about Grand Bull, though, is it is pretty squishy. Unlike, like, let's say, Wigglytuff or one of the XL Mons like Clefable or something, or even Alolan Ninetales. Although I've only seen, I think, one Alolan Ninetales with Charm. All the Alolan Ninetales I've seen, including the one I've used myself, was with Powder Snow. And then they eventually switch here into Ninetales. Interesting. I'm only noticing now this is another fairy type because I'm pretty sure they have a charmer in the back. I just played these games maybe an hour ago. Is this worth a shield? Probably not. Probably not. And at this point, we've already seen the Grand Bull. I'm actually thinking about coming in with Scrafty. Oh, they actually don't get it. I'm going to just go for this Psycho Boost. You know, go for the damage. I could switch to Scrafty here if I don't want them to get this extra farm. Their switch clock is way different than mine. And remember, I'm saving my shield for Typhlosion here. I wasn't counting at the time, so I don't know if this is Dazzling Gleam or not, but either way, I was like, I'm not caring about Scrafty too much. We throw this pup, it really doesn't matter. It wasn't like we were ever going to affect Grand Bull as far as HP is concerned. Okay. And then they end up coming in with Slurpluff. Slurpluff? Oh my gosh, this text is so small I can't even see it. Slurpluff. So we're all in on Typhlosion. We do have a swap. The thing is, I don't know how many charms it takes to get to a Thunderbolt. I know this Pokemon has Thunderbolt. That's the reason a lot of people use it. I think it also has, like, Grass Knot. And once he brings this Grand Bull in, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to shield this first move and hope he can't get to 2 moves. Go for this full farm down. This is some juicy farm. Gonna have to shield it. It could be close combat, which will destroy us. And I'm just gonna assume he can't get to another move. I think one more Shadow Claw would KO, so even if he needed one more charm, he's not gonna get it. Okay, we have 2 moves, 2 Blast Burns already ready. We get the first one off. They don't sneak a move. That's really good for us. So I decide after this to go for 3 Shadow Claws, which would equal to 2 charms. Trying to get the most energy I can out of, like, the most bang for my buck here. Trying to get, you know, if I end up having lag or something on my side, you know, it is what it is, but I'm going to have to, I literally have to play for the only out that I have. And he never ends up throwing a move here. I'm sure he was at Thunderbolt at some point, right? Someone in the comments below tell me how many charms it takes to get to a Thunderbolt. Because we ended up taking this. I thought about doing some sort of sack swap. Maybe they were waiting for a sack swap, and then I just got there and they didn't know how many Shadow Claws it takes to get to the Blast Burn. Alright, Nidoqueen, you saw this in my last video. Don't think about it. Typhlosion. Boom. And thank you in the comments below. In the last video, you're right. Solar Beam is not super effective against Nidoqueen. It's neutral because of the poison typing, which means Blast Burn is the better DP because we have, well, first of all, it's a stronger move in general for its energy cost, and we get the stab bonus on it because we are a fire type. They come in with Shadow Dragonite, and our Shadow Claws are actually doing so much, and I know I'm 1 away from this Blast Burn. I think I can beat it to the move because we did get all that extra farm in. Like, we got 1 or 2 Shadow Claws when the Nidoqueen came in, and it is Shadow. Even though this is resisted, it probably will KO this Dragonite. That was my thinking, at least. Or take the second shield. Boom. If it hadn't, I would have come in with... oh, this is the saddest of times. Yeah, this gets farmed down. I would have come in with Scrafty against the Dragonite, had it not worked out, and just hoped they hadn't had Hurricane, because I wouldn't have shielded Scrafty either. We were all in on DD at this point. It's tough. I'm not going to shield anything right now. Earth Power surprisingly doesn't do that much. I'm not going to throw a Psycho Boost here, though. I want to go up to 2, because I don't know what he has in the back. Okay, we do get debuffed here, so I really don't want to stay in that long. I decided to get up to the second Psycho Boost. Throw this, and then I'll probably just swap out, keeping that move for later. I don't want to stay in while I'm debuffed. The last thing I want is all this extra damage. It's Defense Deoxys. He's there for bulk, and that's good enough. So they do come in with a Shadow Machamp. Triple Shadow... No, Nidoqueen was not Shadow. Shadow Dragonite, Shadow Machamp. Really interesting comp here, as opposed to our last player who had a Triple Fairy. Yeah, Typhlosion, I guess, was always primed to win that one. Anyways, in this matchup, Foul Play actually does a ton to this Machamp. We end up lagging out here. I'm like, oh no. They actually end up throwing a move. I was so scared that I was going to get farmed down in the lag before I could get off another Foul Play, but this is fine. I'm going to keep the shield. This is probably a cross chop, but I know that Nidoqueen's only at like 2 Poison Fangs. two poison jabs, and it takes 5 to get to the Poison Fang. So I know that I can stay in here for a little bit. I go for 3 counters. I throw the Psycho Boost because on 4, they would have gotten to a Cross Chop and they would have won CMP. So I'm trying to take as little damage as possible. And oh my goodness, my voice cracked there. Sorry. And we end up getting the Psycho Boost off, and it's going to KO. Boom. All right, in the comments of the last video, y'all were asking whether or not Psycho Boost was the right choice. This is the reason why I have Psycho Boost on it. We need to have Nidoqueen answers. We need to have faster moves to get to be honest, because Thunderbolt just not doing very much to like the Galarian Stunfisk or so forth. All right, Drifblim. This is a pretty easy win matchup for us in the lead. They decide to stay in, which means they're probably double weak to Scrafty. The thing about being double weak to Scrafty, though, is usually it's not 2 ghost types. It's usually 2 things that don't, like, counter. So I'm already assuming there's a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, which my team's pretty decent against overall. They should beat me to this next foul play, and if I remember, though, they do not actually throw in time. I think they may have overtapped, or maybe they lagged, who knows. But they definitely could have beaten me to that move. So I end up taking the shield because that would have KO'd, and we get an extra counter in. It was a false CMP, so technically we didn't technically get an extra move in. They got a 3-turn move under our last one. And this next foul play, definitely not going to KO. They end up switching to Kingdra. I wish I hadn't thrown this, but in the end, it actually worked out. Pretty much, when you're double debuffed, you probably shouldn't throw a move on their swap in. I threw it because I didn't know what to do, and then later on I'm thinking, why would I ever come in with Typhlosion? Obviously, I should have came in with DD this whole time. And I try to throw before I possibly get double debuffed from the Octazooka, but I've already made up my mind that I won't be shielding DD here. Even an Outrage plus these Dragon Breaths is not really going to do that much, and I think I can go for the full farm down here if they do go for the Outrage. If they went for the Octazooka and we got double debuff, they probably could get to an Outrage, but now we're just going to get all this farm. I'm going to be tapping on the screen here. They're not out of move on Drifblim, and if they come in Drifblim, I want to use the super effective move, and if they come in with something else, probably I could go for a Psycho Boost and a dip. Yeah, they end up coming back in with Drifblim. I can get 1 counter in at the same time that they get 1 Hex in, because it's a 3-turn move and ours is a 2-turn move, so then I would get a move off before they get a move off anyways. They come in with Typhlosion. I decide to throw Psycho Boost. Probably not the best idea here. We actually had made it to the Rock Slide. Definitely should have thrown the Rock Slide because this is already... It doesn't matter. This game's over. We have 2 shields, and I'm just going to go for the full farm down. Obviously, we could have thrown moves here, but I thought it was just safest to not even let them get an extra Incinerate in. Just go for the farm down. I think they end up going for the Solar Beam here just because they know it's over. And they probably just wanted me to throw a move, but I didn't know that at the time, and I'm not going to take any risks. So I knew I was just going to go for the farm down, even though they stopped right here. So we had this guy pretty hard countered, I guess. I haven't seen very much Kingdra, which is crazy because Kingdra was such a good safe swap earlier. All right, this is a good lead. And if I remember, this person comes in with Mew, yeah. This is a really interesting matchup here because I thought, you know, I probably dominate this matchup. They end up throwing a Wild Charge right here, which is crazy because I was like, how many does it take to get to a Focus Blast? Does a Focus Blast even KO me? I don't know. They end up debuffing themselves, and I get off this foul play. Here's where things get really interesting. I end up going for an undercharge because I want to farm a little bit. They actually end up shielding, and I was like, what in the world? We go for the CMP again. I think a Wild Charge may be able to KO me, so I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna risk it. Plus the Pokemon in the back that I have, yes, Typhlosion can do okay, but I'd rather, you know, just KO this and have a little bit of extra on Scrafty in case I need him later. Obviously the Credillia is out there, but we do have the DD. And they end up shielding again. And then I'm like, okay, is it worth it for me to shield here? I end up coming up with the answer yes. And they just went straight Wild Charge. They're 4 times debuffed. I throw the foul play here just as to do damage and then come in with DD and try to go for like a farm. but they end up being way too high health for me to act. XL Credilli, 24.99. This person's an absolute boss. I don't think I've ever ran into a Credilli before. I know people have used it on streams. I forget who. I think Dijon uses it, and I think maybe 2O Butters uses it also, but I've never run into one myself. I decided to throw this Rock Slide. I figure it's neutral. It's probably going to KO. Boom. Okay, and they could come in with the Mew, but we do have a lot of energy. I'm going to go for the Rock Slide. Obviously, Psycho Boost is resisted. I don't think this is going to KO, though, but it's not like Wild Charge is really going to do that much either. So it was really interesting and good decision-making by our opponent because our counter damage is not really going to be doing that much to Mew here. And I'm fine going down here. I really just want to go into Typhlosion, get that little bit of extra farm on the Mew to take a little bit of an energy lead going into this last matchup. There are no shields. This is where Typhlosion has a really decent shot of really doing a lot here. They come in with Armored Mewtwo. They get an extra confusion. That's not great. I do throw this Rock Slide, which is going to do like baby damage. These are two of the more bulky mons in the league. I do have Shadow Claw, which is super effective, and Blast Burn is a super hard-hitting move. The only thing I have to worry about is possibly at running Rock Slide. It is very bulky, though, and a Rock Slide may not KO us. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't, but we'll see. A lot of people are running 2 of the 3 moves of Psy Strike, Rock Slide, and Dynamic Punch, so we'll see if they end up throwing a Psy Strike here or not. Yeah, and they are running Psy Strike. So considering how much that Psy Strike hit us for, a Rock Slide probably would have KO'd us. But we still have the Scrafty. We could have countered it down if worst came to worst, and then the Mew would have gotten countered down also. But really good decision-making by our opponent there of just going straight Wild Charge and just throwing, just shielding. He made it back to switch, and it was really interesting play for sure. I got to 3,200 there. I don't know if you saw. But, yeah, just really interesting play because the counter damage is doing nothing. Even quad defense debuffed, the counter damage was doing nothing. We always have to land a foul play here to do anything. They weren't baiting. We weren't baiting. Yeah. Pretty good play. Anyways, so a few of those games, the leads were as bad as they could be, and Mandibuzz is really bad for the team, but you saw some comeback potential against those teams. I think when you lose lead, you're already instantly all in on Typhlosion, so just keep that in mind going forward. Maybe they do have a Jellicent or something in the back as the third Pokemon. You kind of can't think about it that way. You still have Solar Beam for the water types, but if you already lose the lead and you're coming into a swap, the odds are your swap's not going to be great, especially with so many people prepared for Defense Deoxys. But if you're going to be doing that, definitely just go all in on Typhlosion, see where he gets you. It's always worked out for me so far. I obviously don't have a huge sample size of games, but definitely he can beat some of the water types too. Solar Beam is an insanely strong move. And if you guys beam anyone with Typhlosion, definitely let me know, and I will see you in the next one.